Good morning, everyone. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that the greatest battle is not outside, but within. It is not against other people, not against circumstances, and not against the world. The greatest battle is against fear, weakness, doubt, anger, distraction, and the part of ourselves that constantly tries to hold us back. This is the path to self-mastery. Many people spend their entire lives trying to control everything around them. They chase power, success, money, and recognition, believing these things will make them strong. But real strength is not measured by how much power you have over others. Real strength is measured by how much control you have over yourself. A person who cannot control their anger will destroy their peace. A person who cannot control their fear will destroy their dreams, and a person who cannot control their habits will slowly destroy their future. Self-mastery begins when a person decides to stop being a prisoner of emotions and excuses. It begins when someone takes responsibility for their life instead of blaming the world for every failure. The moment you decide to discipline your mind, control your actions, and rise above weakness, transformation begins. The truth is, the mind can either become your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. If you feed it fear, negativity, and doubt, it will create limits around your life. But if you train it with discipline, focus, and courage, it becomes unstoppable. Every great achievement begins with self-control. When you wake up early while others sleep, you build discipline. When you continue despite pain and failure, you build resilience. When you remain calm while others lose control, you build strength. These small victories may seem invisible, but they shape your character and define your future. The road to self-mastery is not easy. It demands sacrifice. It demands patience. It demands consistency when motivation disappears. There will be days when your mind tells you to quit, when fear whispers that you are not good enough, and when failure makes you question yourself. But those moments are not there to destroy you. They are there to test you and make you stronger. Pressure creates strength. Struggle creates wisdom. Discipline creates freedom. The strongest people are not always the loudest people. Often, the strongest individuals are silent warriors. They train themselves quietly. They improve daily. They control their emotions, guard their thoughts, and remain focused on their purpose while the world around them is filled with distraction. Self-mastery also means mastering your thoughts. Negative thinking weakens the spirit. Complaining weakens the mind. Excuses weaken action, but focus, gratitude, and discipline create power within a person. Never underestimate the power of consistency. A person who improves a little every single day becomes unstoppable over time. Greatness is not built in one moment of motivation. Greatness is built through repeated acts of discipline when nobody is watching. There is a stronger version of yourself waiting to awaken. A version of you that is fearless, disciplined, calm under pressure, and mentally unbreakable. But that version can only appear when you stop running from difficulty and begin facing yourself honestly. Do not fear failure, fear remaining weak. Do not fear struggle, fear never growing. Do not fear the journey. Fear living without purpose, because the moment you master yourself, you gain something more valuable than success. You gain inner peace, clarity, confidence, and the power to face any challenge life places before you with courage and strength. Good morning, everyone. Inside every human being, there is a warrior. Not a warrior who fights with weapons, but a warrior who fights silent battles every single day. This warrior battles fear, doubt, anger, weakness, and distraction. Most people look for enemies outside themselves, but the greatest challenge has always existed within. The silent warrior is not loud. They do not seek attention or praise. Their strength comes from discipline, patience, and self-control. While the world is distracted by noise and chaos, the silent warrior learns to remain calm and focused. In life, there are moments when everything becomes difficult. Dreams seem far away, people lose confidence, and failure begins to create fear inside the mind. During these moments, many people give up because they believe strength only comes from physical power or external success. But real strength is the ability to continue even when nobody believes in you, even when the path becomes painful, and even when your own mind tells you to stop. A silent warrior understands that victory begins in the mind. If the mind is weak, even small problems become mountains. But if the mind is strong, even the hardest struggles become lessons. That is why self-discipline is one of the greatest weapons a person can develop. Waking up early, controlling emotions, staying consistent, and refusing to quit may seem like small actions, but over time they build an unbreakable character. This silent warrior also understands the power of silence itself. Silence allows a person to think clearly. It teaches patience and awareness. In silence, people begin to understand themselves better. They discover their fears, their strengths, and their true purpose. While others waste energy reacting to every problem, the silent warrior observes, learns, and grows stronger from every challenge. Every scar, every failure, and every difficult experience becomes part of their training. Instead of running away from struggle, they use struggle to become wiser and stronger. They know that comfort rarely creates greatness. Pressure, discipline, and persistence shape the strongest minds. The world often celebrates loud success, but the greatest transformations happen quietly. A person training themselves daily, controlling their thoughts, and improving little by little may not be noticed immediately, but over time they become unstoppable. True power is not about dominating others. It is about mastering yourself, controlling your impulses, and remaining strong even during the darkest moments. Good morning, everyone. Many people believe discipline is a burden. They think discipline removes freedom, makes life difficult, and forces people to live under strict rules. But in reality, discipline is not the enemy of freedom. Discipline is the path that leads to true inner freedom. A person without discipline becomes controlled by emotions, habits, distractions, and desires. They may feel free for a short time, but eventually they become trapped by laziness, fear, inconsistency, and regret. Real freedom comes when a person gains control over themselves, instead of allowing temporary feelings to control their life. Discipline teaches a person to act with purpose. It means doing what is necessary even when motivation disappears. Motivation changes every day, but discipline remains steady. Successful people are not successful because they always feel inspired. They succeed because they continue moving forward even when the journey becomes difficult. Every day, people face choices. They can waste time or use it wisely. They can quit or continue. They can follow comfort or follow growth. Discipline is the ability to choose long-term success over short-term pleasure. It is waking up early when the body wants more sleep. It is studying when distractions are everywhere. It is remaining calm when emotions try to take control. At first, discipline feels painful because the mind naturally seeks comfort. But over time, discipline creates strength, confidence, and peace. A disciplined person does not fear challenges because they have trained themselves to face discomfort. They trust their ability to continue even during difficult moments. Inner freedom is not about doing whatever we want at every moment. True freedom is having control over our actions, thoughts, and emotions. A person who cannot control anger becomes a prisoner of anger. A person who cannot control fear becomes limited by fear. A person who cannot control habits loses direction in life. Discipline breaks these chains and allows a person to live with clarity and purpose. Discipline also creates self-respect. Every time a person keeps a promise to themselves, they become stronger mentally. Small actions repeated daily begin to shape character. Consistency builds confidence, and confidence creates inner peace. The strongest people are often not the loudest or most talented. They are the people who quietly train themselves every day. They understand that greatness is built through repetition, patience, and self-control. While others search for shortcuts, disciplined individuals focus on steady improvement. A disciplined mind becomes calm under pressure, focused during difficulty, and determined during struggle. Over time, discipline transforms from a difficult habit into a way of life, allowing a person to rise above weakness, distraction, and limitation. Good morning, everyone. In today's world, many people dream of success, power, and recognition. They want to achieve great things, lead others, and overcome every challenge life places in front of them. But before a person can master the world around them, they must first learn to master the world within them. The mind is the center of every action, every decision, and every emotion. If the mind is uncontrolled, life becomes filled with confusion, fear, anger, and distraction. A weak mind creates excuses, doubts, and limitations. It gives up quickly when difficulties appear. It becomes distracted by criticism and controlled by emotions. But a strong mind remains focused even during pressure. It stays calm in difficult situations and continues moving forward despite failure or fear. Mastering the mind begins with awareness. Many people live their lives reacting to everything around them without understanding their own thoughts. They allow negative thinking to control their actions. Fear tells them they are not capable. Anger pushes them toward regret. Laziness convinces them to delay their goals. A person who cannot control these inner forces will struggle to control any part of life. The mind is powerful because it shapes reality. When a person constantly thinks negatively, they begin to see obstacles everywhere. But when the mind is trained to remain focused and disciplined, challenges become opportunities to grow stronger. That is why mental discipline is one of the greatest forms of strength. Training the mind requires patience and consistency. Just as the body becomes stronger through exercise, the mind becomes stronger through discipline. Reading, learning, meditation, reflection, and self-control are all ways to strengthen mental power. A calm and disciplined mind makes wiser decisions and avoids unnecessary conflict. Mastering the mind also means controlling emotions instead of being controlled by them. Emotions are natural, but they should never become our master. Anger can destroy relationships. Fear can stop progress. Jealousy can steal peace. A wise person learns to observe emotions without allowing them to take control of their actions. Silence is also an important part of mastering the mind. In silence, people discover clarity. They begin to understand themselves better. The noise of the world often weakens concentration, but moments of stillness help the mind regain balance and focus. The greatest victories in life are often invisible. They happen when a person overcomes negative thinking, resists temptation, remains patient during struggle, and continues forward despite doubt. True strength is not about controlling others. True strength is the ability to remain calm, disciplined, and focused while facing life's challenges, because the person who masters their own mind gains the power to shape their future with wisdom and purpose. Good morning, everyone. In a world filled with noise, distraction, and constant movement, stillness has become rare. People are always rushing, reacting, speaking, and chasing endless desires. Yet some of the strongest and wisest individuals understand a powerful truth. True strength is often found in stillness and self-control. Many people think power means being loud, aggressive, or dominant. But real power is the ability to remain calm when everything around you becomes chaotic. A person who cannot control their emotions becomes controlled by situations, anger, fear, and pressure. But a person who practices self-control develops inner peace and mental strength that cannot easily be shaken. Stillness is not weakness, it is awareness. It is the ability to pause, observe, and think clearly before reacting. In moments of silence, the mind becomes sharper and the heart becomes calmer. Stillness allows people to understand themselves better. It teaches patience, focus, and clarity. When the mind is constantly distracted, people lose direction. They make decisions based on emotions instead of wisdom. They react without thinking and often regret their actions later. But stillness creates space for reflection. It helps a person respond with intelligence rather than impulse. Self-control is equally important because it protects a person from their own destructive habits and emotions. Anger, jealousy, fear, pride, and impatience can destroy relationships, opportunities, and peace of mind. A person without self-control becomes a prisoner of emotions, but a disciplined person learns how to remain balanced even during difficult situations. One of the greatest signs of maturity is the ability to stay calm under pressure. Anyone can react with anger or frustration, but it takes strength to remain composed when facing criticism, failure, or conflict. Self-control allows a person to think wisely and avoid decisions that create regret. Stillness also strengthens concentration. In silence, people can focus on their goals without being consumed by outside noise. Great thinkers, leaders, and warriors throughout history understood the importance of quiet reflection. They knew that a calm mind makes better decisions than a restless one. Developing stillness and self-control requires daily practice. It means learning to listen more and speak less. It means controlling reactions instead of acting on every emotion. It means remaining patient when progress feels slow and staying disciplined when distractions appear. The strongest people are often the calmest. They do not waste energy trying to prove themselves to the world. Their confidence comes from inner balance and self-awareness. They understand that peace is not found outside but within. Through stillness, the mind becomes clear, and through self-control, the soul becomes strong enough to face any challenge life presents. Good morning, everyone. Every person carries hidden strength within themselves. Deep inside every human being exists a stronger, wiser, and more disciplined version waiting to awaken. Most people spend their lives doubting their abilities, fearing failure, and remaining trapped inside comfort zones without realizing how much potential they truly possess. Greatness does not suddenly appear overnight. It is awakened through struggle, discipline, sacrifice, and self-belief. The strongest version of yourself is not created during easy moments. It is built during pain, pressure, failure, and challenge. Difficult experiences often reveal strengths people never knew they had. Many people wait for the perfect moment to change their lives. They wait for motivation, support, or confidence before taking action. But growth begins when a person decides to move forward despite fear and uncertainty. Real transformation happens when someone chooses progress over excuses and discipline over comfort. One of the biggest obstacles people face is their own mindset. Negative thoughts create invisible limits. Fear whispers that success is impossible. Doubt convinces people to quit before they even begin. But the moment a person learns to control their mind, they begin unlocking their true potential. A strong mind can survive difficult situations, remain calm under pressure, and continue moving forward even after failure. Awakening your strongest self also requires responsibility. Instead of blaming others, successful people take ownership of their choices, actions, and habits. They understand that every small decision shapes their future. Daily discipline, consistent effort, and self-control slowly build a stronger character. Growth is uncomfortable because change requires sacrifice. Sometimes people must leave behind laziness, negativity, distractions, and unhealthy habits. They must learn to embrace discomfort because comfort rarely creates strength. Just as fire strengthens steel, challenges strengthen the human spirit. The strongest version of yourself is also connected to self-awareness. A person must understand both their strengths and weaknesses. Knowing your weaknesses is not a sign of failure. It is the first step toward improvement. Self-awareness allows people to grow wiser and make better decisions. Persistence is another key to transformation. Failure is not the end unless a person decides to stop trying. Every setback teaches lessons that create wisdom and resilience. Those who continue despite obstacles eventually develop the confidence and strength needed to succeed. The journey toward becoming stronger never truly ends. There is always another level of growth, discipline, and understanding waiting ahead. Every day becomes an opportunity to improve mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. With patience, focus, and determination, a person begins to awaken the powerful version of themselves that has existed within them all along. Good morning, everyone. Self-mastery is one of the greatest achievements a human being can attain. Many people spend their lives trying to control the world around them, but very few learn how to control themselves. True strength does not come from power, wealth, or status. It comes from mastering the mind, emotions, habits, and actions. Every person faces an inner battle every day. There is a constant struggle between discipline and laziness, courage and fear, patience and anger, focus and distraction. The direction of a person's life is often determined by which side wins these battles. A person who cannot control their thoughts and emotions becomes easily influenced by circumstances and pressure. But a person who develops self-mastery remains calm, focused, and strong even during difficult times. The journey towards self-mastery begins with self-awareness. A person must first understand themselves before they can improve themselves. Many people ignore their weaknesses or blame others for their problems. However, growth begins when someone honestly recognizes their habits, fears, and limitations. Self-awareness allows people to understand what needs to change and what must be strengthened. Discipline is another important part of self-mastery. Success is not built through occasional effort. It is created through consistent daily actions. Discipline means continuing even when motivation disappears. It means doing what is necessary even when it feels uncomfortable. Waking up early, managing time wisely, controlling emotions, and staying focused on goals may seem like small actions, but over time they shape a powerful character. Self-mastery also requires emotional control. Emotions are natural, but they should never dominate our decisions. Anger can destroy peace, fear can stop progress, and impatience can lead to regret. A wise person learns how to respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. The ability to remain balanced during pressure is a sign of true inner strength. Patience is equally important on this journey. Self-mastery is not achieved in a single day. It is developed slowly through effort, failure, learning, and persistence. There will be moments of weakness and struggle, but each challenge becomes an opportunity to grow stronger. Every mistake can become a lesson if a person is willing to learn from it. Silence and reflection also help strengthen the mind. In quiet moments, people gain clarity about their thoughts and actions. They begin to understand themselves more deeply and develop better control over their decisions. A person who achieves self-mastery gains something greater than external success. They gain inner peace, confidence, discipline, and the ability to face life's challenges with wisdom, balance, and unshakable strength.